Listen, I love my guy, Dave. I love him. Dave, if you're listening, I love you. We're good. But the reality is we've both been working from home. We've been doing everything at home, really. And, especially during the height of the pandemic, you couldn't go anywhere. And it's just not normal to spend that much time together. And you can get on each other's nerves. I know it's not just happening to us. Listen, we're hanging in there. We're muddling our way through, but there is a reason divorce rates have spiked during the pandemic. So could the secret to getting along better be as simple as just a few words? It's been working for writer Amy TECTOR. Her first book, The Honeybee Emeralds, comes out on March 29th, and Amy TECTOR joins us now. Hello, Amy.
Hi, Natasha. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So I understand you live in Ottawa now, but you actually grew up in the townships.
I did, yes. I'm from Cowansville. My mom's still in Knowlton.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's nice to talk to you. Nice to meet you. I read your article and immediately felt like, oh yeah, she gets it. She gets it. So I've been with Dave for 16 years, Amy, and I read in your Chatelaine article that you've been with your husband for almost 20. So tell us a little bit about what it's been like for you guys during the pandemic and what kind of things were you getting at each other over?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tale as old as the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the things I'm sure all your listeners have experienced. We were both suddenly working from home in a suddenly very scary environment. We didn't, especially in those early days, didn't really know what was happening. We were suddenly homeschooling our tween, who was suddenly developing a lot of attitude.
Oh my God, what? We're living the same life. Okay, go on. Yes.
My job was really intense at that point because of the pandemic. So, I'm sure every single person can relate. It was just a lot. And of course, no one else, especially again in those early days, we weren't seeing friends, we weren't seeing family, we were having those Zoom cocktails, whatever it was that we were doing. But it was just us in that house getting on each other's nerves. And I love my husband, Andrew, but boy, oh boy, was he annoying. So we were having fights, all the sort of, I think, normal things that you fight about, from what should we have for dinner? Should we order takeout? What does the credit card bill look like this month? To the weird pandemic fights of, should we let our daughter have an outdoor play date? Is this the right thing to do? Later on in the pandemic, should we be going on a trip? Is this the right thing to do? When should we see family? All those stresses, all those questions we would squabble about and fall into the same lousy patterns we always fell into. You're always doing this. You're always saying no. You're always saying yes. You're too risk averse. You're too risk interested. So, it was just, we weren't in a bad place, but we were in a crabby place, I would say.
Oh my God. Honestly, I'm hanging on your every word because I'm sure so many people listening are like, yes, preach, sister. This is exactly what so many people have been living through. So, there's like in long-term relationships, there's always going to be that, that normal ebb and flow of relationships, but everything was heightened with the pandemic. And it's like there was almost a pandemic ebb and flow. You'd go through little cocooning where it was kind of fun and the novelty and that all wore off. And it just seems to come and go all the time. And so we've had good periods and then less good periods, shall we say. I'm wondering how you managed to end that cycle. Like when you said you were stuck in a pattern and always bickering over the same things. How did you end that cycle and what do words have to do with it?
Yeah, well, I won't in any way claim that I've solved a great mystery, but at some point over the past couple of years, one of us, and I can't remember who, which I think means that it was probably Andrew, came up with this way of interacting with each other. When one person wants to do something, they go up to the other person and say, I'm going to suggest something right now, and you can't react right away. You have to just take a beat, and we'll talk about it later. And it has been phenomenal, actually, because whether it's something super trivial like let's just eat leftovers for dinner,
mm-hmm.
something more major like, I think we should renovate the bathroom. By saying that to the person after you've made your suggestion, the other person can't just default to the normal thing. Like, what? That's crazy. lazy. We can't eat leftovers. We're sick of leftovers, or we don't have enough money to renovate the bathroom. Instead, you go away as the person who's had the suggestion made to you, and you just have a little think about it. And maybe it is still a stupid idea, but you don't just blurt out in that moment, which is what I tended to do. What? That's the stupidest thing I've heard. Instead, you then calmly come back and say, actually, we can't have leftovers because I just bought hamburger meat or whatever.
Okay, so
or the bigger ones, yeah.
I love this in theory. We're speaking with writer Amy TECTOR, and she wrote about this in Chatelaine, some words that might help you, stop quibbling so much with your significant other. And I love that. I'm like, okay, because, I also find throughout the pandemic, we've just been more reactionary, right? Like just snippy, and I don't know if that's everybody across the board, but it's certainly been the case in my household. So anyway, all of that to say, I love that take a beat concept, but in the moment, Amy, I feel like I'd have an incredibly hard time biting my tongue.
Yeah, you feel like a Martian. You feel like a crazy person. You have to kind of have decided this. You both have to be on the same page, and then you just have to do it. And it can sound really artificial and weird because you're like, okay, we will discuss this in 1 hour, or I have heard what you've said, and now I will think about it. And then you just do, and it does work. So it is worth trying. I would say it can't hurt.
Do you and your husband ever go away from that? So you're saying you say, I'm going to suggest something now. Don't react. Listen. We'll take a little time and we'll come back and we'll discuss it later. In that time that you're away and that you're not discussing it, are you formulating your argument? Like, are you like, this is my stance and gathering ammunition? Because that's immediately the other mode that I go into. I'm like, okay, let's get ready so I can win this fight.
Of course, it depends on whether it's like a big thing or a little thing. But sure, sometimes, and even like we're not marriage experts, but even in the moment when someone says, "Now don't react right away," sometimes your face makes it very clear what you think of the other person's idea. But and you do gather your ammunition. But what happens is you think about it, and just you're like, oh yeah, maybe we could swing a vacation actually, because I'll take an extra week of vacation and we'll be fine, or whatever the thing is. You're like, oh, maybe you don't have that knee jerk thing. So even if you are then formulating your response, you come at it. It's that word you said. You're not reactionary, and so you're more thoughtful, and so you're less likely to be kind of dismissive of the other person, and maybe a little insulting.
Right.
That's a crazy idea. You don't say that right away, which has been helpful for us.
Well, I'm going to try this out. And at some point I will report back to you, Amy. Maybe when your book comes out, we can speak again.
Oh, that would be awesome. I'd love that.
Very nice to talk to you today. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
You take care. That is Amy TECTOR. She is a writer. She wrote about this for Chatelaine. Her first book, The Honeybee Emeralds, will be out on March 29th.